Hello everyone, hello lovelies, welcome to South Asian Overground. I am here tonight, whenever you're listening, with Neeraja, who is a director, writer and animation filmmaker. Hey.
Hi Talina.
Hi there.
Thank you
How
for having
cool is
me.
it, all those things that you do?
Thank you so much, that's so kind.
Thank you for being here. I'm excited to get into it about all the amazing things you do. But we've got to kickstart with the question that I ask every guest that comes on the podcast. Where are you from?
Okay, interesting question. I mean, I feel like I'm a third culture kid in the sense that I've grown up across a plethora of places.
I love the word plethora, by the way. Like, it's like such a fun word.
I agree.
Plethora. I've got a plethora of music in my Spotify.
I love
Sorry,
that.
carry on.
Yeah, no, I grew up in Jakarta until I was 13, and then 13 to 18 I was in Dubai, and then I did my bachelor's in India. So then like my formative years of like 18 to 22 I was there, and then I moved to the UK and I've been here since. And it's a hard question to answer. It's just, I think where is home really? It's hard,
especially when you've like moved around a lot. My family live in Dubai actually.
Amazing.
So yeah, I definitely get it. And like such a mix, and you know, you're having to constantly adapt to different cultures and stuff like that. But do you get asked that question a lot?
In England?
Yeah, or like in general?
Yeah, I think people, especially when they hear my accent, they're confused, because like I feel like British people, they think it's American, but Americans are like, oh, that's not an American accent. I don't know what people are talking about. So it's like, because like I say like can't instead of can't, for example. So it's like people are trying to identify where I'm from, but I'm like, this is an international school accent, and I've grown up in international school. So essentially it's like a mixture or a plethora of accents.
Plethora.
Coming together.
We love that word. That's going to be the word of the podcast. Do you find it... I'm trying to not make this a loaded question. How do you feel when people ask you that question? Because some people find it a little bit like offensive. Some people are totally chilled about it.
Right. You know, I don't mind, I think. As long as they're not coming at me, it's the way it's asked, right? Like if I can sense like a negative energy about it, I'm like, I'm going to give a curt answer. But most of the time people are pretty just curious, you know, just want to know more.
Yeah, I think that more and more now it's less of a negative question and more of like a curiosity of like, oh, like you seem interesting.
Exactly.
Where are you from? Or you look exotic. Where are you from? I actually like looking exotic, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a vibe.
Yeah.
Nice to have like soft tanned skin, you know, that whole situation.
Yeah.
And what would you say being South Asian means to you?
I think it's just embracing my culture more as I travel across the world and go to different places, and just like owning it. In my day-to-day life. I think for the longest time I was, I didn't know, I like, in the sense that when I went back to India, I felt like I was not Indian enough. And Yeah. Do you get it? You get me?
Totally get you. Like when when I've been to India, and I don't go that much because like my family are all here and we're quite like westernized, but I definitely feel like so connected to it and so like excited and so like, oh yeah, but also so like I don't know anything. And like they know I don't know anything. And then I'm here and I'm like, to some people I'm like, oh, she's South Asian, she knows stuff, she's got a podcast about being South Asian and stuff like that. And but I'm also a bit like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I'm outside the country and I'm in different places, people expect me to be that emblem of like India, like, oh, you're the Indian girl, so you should know stuff. But it's like, yeah.
Why do you not know this?
Yeah.
Why do you not know what this type of food is? Why do you not know how to like say this?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
So it's like a weird, kind of confusing relationship, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Do you feel quite connected though to being South Asian?
I do, yeah. As the years go by, I think I'm just embracing it more, embracing my culture more. My mom is like a devout Hindu, so she would like pray every day.
Okay.
And I think like I do miss that element. during the pandemic, I went back to my parents.
Sure.
And while I was there, I was like, it was nice to have this moment in the day where you just sit and you pray, and it's just a brief moment in time. And yeah, I kind of missed that. And so I'm trying to like incorporate that in my life today. Like I got like a little, do you know what Ganesha is?
Yeah.
Got a little Ganesha statue and little like diya, and like try and pray when I can.
Yeah,
really.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I think like it's nice that your parents have that, but it's also like you can choose how you want to incorporate that, you know, into your life. Did they like put pressure on you to kind of be more Hindu, or was it very much like, Neeraja, it's up to you what you want to do?
I think my mom would definitely want me to be more Hindu and embrace that more. Like all parents, I think they just want to pass down like their values and their culture, and I respect that. I understand that. Like I feel like I want that as well now. I think in the past I would have rebelled more.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But do you think it's just like something that comes with like getting like more, getting older, I don't know, feeling more comfortable in your skin, that you'll like want to embrace that? Because I guess when we're younger, we can often feel a bit like, oh, we just want to fit in, so we push away our culture, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like when I was growing up in Indonesia, I was like, I spoke Indonesian. I was like trying to be one of the Indonesians basically, and just like pushing away aspects of my Indian culture and my Indianness. And I've been doing that. Like I think as I was growing up, like even in Dubai, like surrounded by like the Arab language and like Dubai culture, which is very different from.
Yeah, it is. Because I'm Muslim, so there's obviously like Islam in that sense in Dubai and stuff like that. So I guess there's a bit more of a connectedness there. But yeah, totally. I totally get that. And like, I guess you have to be centered in your connection to being South Asian and your connection to being Hindu when you're moving around so much. Like, what is that for you? Because you're moving around so much, so the environment's constantly changing.
Yeah. Are you asking me how that felt growing up? Yeah, I felt othered. I felt alien. I felt like I was always trying to fit in. And essentially like my family kept moving, so they kept uprooting me from different countries, different schools. And so it was like, I think because of that, as an adult, I feel like I'm more adaptable, more malleable to new situations and new environments. Like you can throw me in the desert and I'll survive.
Love that. You'd be great on that show. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Oh my god, I've heard of it.
I would love to go in that show. I'm not a celebrity, so I couldn't go in, but I'm just saying
you are though.
So in terms of your career choices, like I feel like it's less so now, but we have to touch on the fact that often South Asians are, you know, often meant to be doctors, lawyers, and all these mathematicians. I've gone down a very different route. So have you.
Yeah.
So how was that career choice accepted by like your family, the community, etc.?
I would say my parents have always been supportive, especially like my mom and my grandfather. I think they were always like pushing me to be creative from a young age. I would definitely say my grandfather had a big part in like making me who I am today, and I thank him for it. And I think they were always like championing me. I think they would, like my parents, I mean, they would get maybe pushback from distant relatives saying stuff like, are you sure, artist? You want her to be a starving artist? Are you sure?
Starving artist, because all artists are starving.
Exactly. It's just this I feel like people take art for granted, especially like within the Indian community. I don't think they realize the importance of art. And look at the pandemic. Like during the pandemic, everyone was turning to Netflix. Everyone was like turning to art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about like our culture makes people not place importance on it? Because it's also completely like a contrast, or not a contrast, but hypocritical, I guess, because Bollywood films, color, fashion, music is such a huge part of our culture. Yeah, if you want to be an artist, it's a bit like, what are you doing?
Exactly. I think, that's a really good point.
Thank you.
Your questions are amazing. No, but genuinely, I feel like I think people know that Bollywood is a really tough industry to succeed in. And maybe they know that there's so many go-getters out there that it's like only the best of the best can make it. And I think maybe they're coming at it from that mindset. Or maybe they're coming at it from the mindset that Bollywood is not very stable. Or like, yeah.
Yeah, well, being an artist
Right?
is not a stable position to be in.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that's, maybe the elders take note of that. And
But also, like, I guess with Bollywood as well, it's like it's always the same actors. Like, it's always Shah Rukh Khan, Amitabh Bachchan. I actually don't remember the name of some of the ladies. Kajol.
Yeah.
You know, always the same. So it's like, oh, well, it's always going to be them. So, like, you're not going to have a chance. Or, like, you're not going to have a chance as a filmmaker because it's always ex-director or ex-filmmaker.
Exactly. And male directors as well. Older male directors. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, talking of Bollywood movies, how do you genuinely feel about them? Because I'm trying not to make this question loaded. Yeah, let me rephrase this. How, like, in terms of Bollywood films, like, what do you think about them? And what do you think about how relationships are portrayed and genders are portrayed and families are portrayed? Because it's very a certain type of way a lot of the time, unless it's one of those really weird crime Bollywood films, which I'm just always like, this is bizarre. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. I love Bollywood. Let me just say, I think I love the music and the dancing and just the singing and like the colors. I think it's all amazing. I think the one gripe I have is with the way that I guess men and women are portrayed, like the item song, or like the woman has to be scantily clad and be like, just the term item song, like she's an item. I just hate that. And I hate that there's so many films in Bollywood, and this goes beyond to Hollywood as well, but there's so many films where the woman says no and the man pursues her again and again and again until they break her down into saying yes.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so true.
Yeah, consent is not a thing in Bollywood.
Oh my God. Why do you think that is? Like,
I don't know. I feel like they're teaching young men, like, oh, you try hard enough and you get what you want, maybe, is the goal. I think it's a patriarchy. I think, honestly, it's just...
Yeah, actually, and you know what? I was talking about this on another podcast, episode of this podcast, with Ryan Lange about Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. And what I love about Anjali, I don't know if you've seen it. I love it so much. But what I love about Anjali is that she's a tomboy, she's out of the box, she doesn't care, and in a way, like, she doesn't pursue Rahul, but she kind of is a bit like, yo, like, hi, do you see me?
Yeah.
And she's like playing basketball with him and all of these kind of things, which I think it came out in like 1994.
Yeah.
For that time,
That's amazing.
that's like really unusual, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only other time we've seen something like that is a film like Bend It Like Beckham, which again is like one of the only South Asian films apparently ever made, like in the UK. But that's again like obviously the main character, Jess, I think she's called in
Yes.
Jasminder. Is a football player and wants to be a football player, and like obviously her family is super against it. So I love films like that which portray women as how many women are.
Exactly.
Which is great, but I just think there's not enough of them.
No, I agree. With Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, I think it was directed by Karan Johar, who was like 25, super young at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that has an element to do with, why it was different, I would say. Maybe he just came at it from a different perspective, from a, like new eyes. in a
Yeah,
sense.
definitely. And
Yeah.
one thing though that I'm really interested in, especially from your perspective as a filmmaker, is like why there's not much. I don't mean Bollywood. I mean like British movies which are based on South Asian, so might be Blooming East is East, or it might be Bend It Like Beckham, or other movies, not British ones, but like Slumdog Millionaire, where it always seems that the South Asians or the South Asian family is like not in a particularly good financial position. They're struggling. Why do you think that is? Because that's so true. There is that, but that exists in every culture, and there also exists like super successful people, or do you know what I mean?
I do. I see what you mean. I think Yeah, I think it's because people love a good underdog story, and I think that's what they've been aiming for all these years. And even with like Slumdog Millionaire and I feel like it's so fun to see Dev Patel now in Monkey Man, and I don't know if you've seen it. I'm going to see it soon.
I really want to see
so
it.
excited,
I really wanna see
and
it.
it's so nice to see him in like such a different kind of role. Yeah, and just being the leading action man, kind of, with that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important. Like, I don't know why this is how South Asians are constantly portrayed, but like, I'm really happy that that's changing.
Yeah.
But I also then feel like, how many South Asian actors or how many British South Asian actors do you really know? It's Dev Patel. Who else?
Exactly. So I feel like in recent times there have been a huge number of new South Asian actors in the Western space, like Charita Chandran, for example, from Bridgerton season 2,
and Simone Ashley
from Bridgerton season 2 as well. And then there's Amita Suman, who was in oh my god, what's that? Shadow and Bone on Netflix. And yeah, I think it's I don't know if you've seen A Suitable Boy. There are a lot of amazing new Indian actors on there, and other South Asian actors, and I think it's changing slowly but surely.
Yeah, definitely. And have you seen
Mean Girls?
No, I was gonna say Tell Me Lies. Devi Vishwal Kumar.
I love her. Her name is Maitri something.
Oh, actually don't know.
Okay.
I don't know either. But no, that's also a great series, you know. And I agree with you. Like, I'm pushing the table away. Oopsie. Things are changing. But I wonder, why do you think that's only happening now? Like, why do you think it's taken so long?
I believe that with the George Floyd incident in mid 2020, I think that catapulted all of this. I think that forced people to look inwards, especially corporations and Hollywood and Bollywood as well. Because like, it was around that time that the Fair and Lovely cream, they changed the name to, I don't know what it is now, but it's like a lot of things happened because of that one, the movement, the Black Lives Matter movement.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame that something like that has to happen for that to be the case. But I'm glad that changes are being made now.
Yeah.
We'll just fix this for you. So, next thing, as a South Asian filmmaker, first question I want to know is, has it been difficult being a brown female to get your films out there, to get yourself like heard and for people to listen to you?
I'm so sorry. I think I pressed one of this. That's okay, right?
Is it fine?
I pressed like one of this buttons accidentally.
One of them is on.
Okay, cool.
It's just using the analog signal.
Okay, cool.
Let me re-ask the question. So, question. Do you feel like, as a filmmaker, being South Asian and being a female, has it kind of made life more difficult for you? Or in some ways, has it helped you and you're a bit like, are you only wanting me because I'm brown and a female?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I think it's definitely had its ups and downs. I think I always had this dream, like I wanted to be an animation film director. I want to direct features. I wanted to be a showrunner. And for me, that was always the end goal. And I think I had like tunnel vision. I had like these blinders on like horses do. And I'm like, I don't care what anyone else says. I'm doing my own thing and I'm carving out a space for myself. If you say no, I'm going to break the door down.
I love that.
Yeah.
This is the energy that we need, like 100 million %.
I think I just won't take no for an answer. And I think you have to be like that if you're someone who's, brown and like trying to make it in this world, really.
Yeah, like absolutely. And do you feel like,
which is it's kind of sad that we have that it sucks. Yeah,
it absolutely sucks that you there's even these barriers in place in the first place. Because let me tell you, and you already know this, I don't need to let me tell you, but let me tell you, being a creative is tough anyway, because it takes a lot to make any kind of money. It takes a lot for anyone to really see you and give you a chance, and you have to really love it. Add on to the fact that people are being like, oh, she's brown, oh, she's a female, oh, she's young.
Yeah,
like it's a whole thing.
Yeah,
but I'm super impressed with your films.
Thank you so much.
I don't know why I said that in a weird American
I love it.
Strange, so strange. My brain is like a bizarre place to be sometimes.
No, this is good vibes. I'm having fun. Yeah.
But do you think that there is a pressure, right, on South Asian filmmakers, directors to make films directly associated with being South Asian or directly associated with that particular culture?
Oh yeah, I definitely think so. I think it's like I think the term for this is tokenization, in the sense that because you're one of a very small number of like South Asian directors, it's kind of like people go to you because they're like, oh, there's a South Asian story, who's the director for it? Neeraja, you know. And while I don't mind that, I love telling stories of my people and my culture, and I love all of that, but I also do wish that I was handed projects that maybe is outside of that space as well, because I'm not just my culture, I'm capable of more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like, I don't like to be pigeonholed. Yeah.
No, and you know what? This is a real thing. Like, I was going to get someone on the podcast. She's an incredible DJ. I won't say her name, but she's incredible. But she was like, sounds great, but I'm trying to stay away from doing South Asian stuff because I don't want to be pigeonholed, which I got. And I was like, it's a shame, though, that, like, you feel like you have to stay away from that. But at the same time, like, I do get it. But would you ever kind of shy away from a South Asian project because of that reason?
I don't think so.
No. Yeah.
I don't think there's a project that I would shy away from if I think I would shy away from it if it was portraying South Asians negatively. Then yes.
Yeah, well, obviously, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear that. What about like a non-South Asian person making a South Asian film or directing a South Asian film?
So, I mean, maybe this is like a controversial opinion, but
we love controversy or controversy or I don't know.
Yeah, I love it too. But I think that anyone can tell a story about anything or anyone, but I feel like you need to do your research. You need to have, if, for example, say you're a man telling the story of a woman. I'm thinking about Poor Things at the moment, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have seen it.
Okay. So my gripe with that film is like, it's the writer of the book is a man, straight white older man.
Sure.
The director is a straight white older man.
Right.
The producer is straight white older man. The composer is I can keep going.
And it's about a young female
exactly.
whose brain has been messed up with, basically, and there's a lot of nudity, there's a lot of sex scenes going on, prostitution. I actually didn't know that everyone like at the head of this film was a man. I didn't know that.
Right. So my issue with that is I wish they got someone on board with the female perspective, because there are some things that you don't understand as a man. Like, for example, in the book, they touch upon like menstruation, which they don't convey that at all in the film or in the script at all, like, which I find like very interesting. And then there's this bit about body hair, right? Like, they talk about how Bella Baxter, like, her hair grows 5 inches every day or something like that. Yeah. And yet this character has no underarm hair, has no leg hair, and yet has like a bush that's like trimmed.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this kind of stuff.
You absolutely can. Definitely. This is not radio. It's fine.
But I just find that like mind-boggling. Like, you've put so much attention and thought and detail into all the other stuff of this film, but this character who's supposed to be someone who's like, you know, do you think that she would fit into social conditioning? No, she doesn't.
No.
Why would she shave underarm hair? That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. That is such a good point. I like your thinking, and I like your points that you're making.
I'm very passionate about this.
Yeah, no, I hear it. So we're on the subject of film, of course. You've, of course, are an animation artist. Is it animation artist?
Sure.
Animator. La 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 la. How did you get into animation and film in general?
I've always been a creative person. I used to like make little storybooks and like give it out to my friends in the neighborhood.
In like paper?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Do you remember those ones where you like flick it and like the image like makes something? You know when you like...
Yes. A flip book.
A flip book. Oh, so cute.
Did you do that?
No, I never made them because I'm crap at art, but I liked them.
Right.
I got E in art.
Oh, okay.
I drew like a flying chair. We were doing surrealism, and I thought that was really good, and I got an E.
I love that.
Me too.
You should show me that later if you still have it.
I don't know where it is.
So yes, I would like write little stories and I would show it to my friends. I would like in school I would make like little comics about my friends and like their crushes and what they get up to, and like I was the girl that everyone went to when they're like hush hush, like, hey, can you draw a picture of me and my crush? I'm like, yes, I will do it.
I also just love that you said crush, because I always say crush.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is my crush still now. I'm
Yeah.
a fully adult person and I still say crush and my crush.
I love that. Yeah, so I've always been into art, into animation, and I've just been like honing that craft since I was a kid, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still doing it. Yeah.
I mean, it's actually mind-blowing. Like, your animation is like so friggin' cool, and we're gonna get into the films and stuff in a minute, but it's an incredible talent.
Thank you.
It really is. Like, how the fucking hell do you even do that? Like, it's
Thank
nuts.
you.
It's nuts. And you've also been able to get your films out there and for people to see them. Obviously, you nominated for Forbes 30 Under 30, also for BAFTA. How did that come about?
Ooh, yeah, I definitely think it was like my go-getter attitude. Like, I went into uni and I was like, I want to make a stop motion animation film. And I had a lot of pushback. I remember like my tutors were like, we don't think you can do a stop motion. Like, we got you into the uni because you can do 2D animation well, and I think we should stick to 2D. And then I remember I was like, no, but I want to make a stop motion film.
What is stop motion?
Stop motion animation is basically like puppetry animation, but you move like little puppets incrementally, frame by frame, and you click pictures. And when you play all the pictures back, the puppet moves on its own. So that's essentially what stop motion is. If you've seen Wallace and Gromit, that's stop motion.
Oh, yeah.
Or Shaun the Sheep.
Shaun the Sheep.
Yeah, that's stop motion.
Bless him.
And 2D is obviously like Tom and Jerry or like the Disney classics. So with this film, it's called Meow or Never. I made it and graduated with it in 2020. The pandemic struck. I was like, oh my God, my life is over. How? I don't know what to do. So what I did was I sat and sent this film out to festivals all across the world, and it went everywhere. It went all over the world to different places, and it was screened. It got nominated for several awards, and I think the film gave me the career that I have today. Yeah.
So it was basically determination and talent. It wasn't, I've got this contact, because obviously it does help.
Yeah.
But you just made something sick. You stuck to your guns and then you sent it out. And I just feel like we said earlier, when you're passionate about something and you're like, nothing is going to get in my way, bang, you can make it happen. Like, you're the perfect example of that.
Thank you. You're
welcome. There I go again with my weird accent.
I would say definitely it's a combination of hard work and luck. You need both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And you also need to be prepared when opportunity strikes.
definitely. And
Yeah.
you also need to be okay with rejection and people saying no. 'Cause
Yes.
That's a majority of our lives.
Yeah.
People being like, no, sorry.
I
no,
got a note
sorry.
this morning. I was like,
And it still hurts.
yeah.
Even though you're used to it, it still hurts.
Yeah.
And then the other movie that came out recently on International Women's Day under Warner Discovery, Diksha. Am I saying that correctly?
So the film is called She Creates Change. It's about a young woman called Diksha.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, please can you tell us about that? Because I watched it and I just was so interested. I wasn't expecting it. I really loved it, and I have questions about it as well. But I just want you to tell us about the film, and also tell us about how it came to be picked up by Warner Discovery.
Yeah. So the film is for this client called Room to Read, and they basically provide life skill programs to young girls in impoverished countries to help them better navigate their circumstances. And they wanted to make 6 films with 6 female directors, and so I was picked as one of the directors, and I pitched for Diksha, this young girl in Nepal who is facing color discrimination. So in her little community, she's ostracized for the color of her skin because she's darker than everyone else. And through the life skills program, she gains agency over herself, and she goes on to help another young woman in need. Her name is Sita, and basically Sita was undergoing this thing called chaupadi, which is like a ancient Nepalese custom where they force young women during their period to be locked up in a shed outside their house with no food, no drinks, no water, for the duration of their period, and they're considered impure during that time. And so I wanted to tackle both of these very important topics, and so I pitched for this film, and then I got it, and it was amazing making it, and it was amazing telling Diksha's story and making it come to life in the best way that I could.
And it was really interesting as well because it starts off in animation and then it sort of moves into kind of like a documentary style.
Yeah.
So how come you decided to combine those two like mediums?
So the creative director on the project, her name is Martha Adams, and she's amazing. She did this film called Brave Girl Rising. And so she handled the documentary part of it and I handled the animation.
Sure. Okay, cool. So it's like a collaboration.
It's a collaboration. Yeah. And I think it was always the goal from the beginning to show like an animated depiction of Diksha's story, but also show the reality and in a poetic way combine the two.
It was poetic actually, and it was really I can't think of another word, but like palatable, because the topics are quite like shocking in ways. Like people don't know this, and it made it more like you could understand it. Like I didn't know these things, and I sometimes think with animation, it's such an incredible craft and talent, but it's a lot of like almost fun to watch, and you almost forget like the messages behind certain like animations. And I think with this, you couldn't miss the message.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with animation, you're able to tell certain things that you may not be able to tell through live action as well.
Yeah, it was quite like concise. It was quite like to the point. I was like, oh, this is what this is about.
Yeah,
yeah. Like I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I also, I do obviously know that like there's this thing in South Asian culture of don't be too dark. I don't have that issue.
Yeah.
Like, I'm half English, half Indian. My mum's English and she loves having a tan and I love having a tan. And my dad doesn't like going in the sun. But like, I feel weird if I'm not tanned, Like I like to be, and I know it's because naturally, like in the past, it was like if you were out working, you would be darker because of the sun.
Yeah.
But like that would mean that you were in like a lower economic position or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't think I worded that very well, but it, now that's not the case. But it's interesting.
I think even in the Victorian era it was like this.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So why did you feel like this specific story you wanted to tell? Like, have you had any, I guess, relationship with like the skin color side of things, or even like the period side of things?
Yeah, I think with the skin color stuff, when I was young, I was definitely bullied in middle school or even earlier than that for being darker than the rest of the kids in my Indonesian school.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm Indian. They're all, really like really fair. And so, I think I was called the equivalent of the N-word in Indonesian language.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was like hard.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That by your own people.
No, because they're Indonesians.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
Yeah. I'm ethnically Indian. I don't know if I mentioned that.
No, I know, but it's your South Asian. Well, it's Indonesian. But I was in my head. I was like, well, you were living there. You were brought up there.
Exactly.
Like,
you're right. Technically, they should be my people.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
yeah, but there weren't many Indians around, so I guess they were like.
But everyone's brown, right?
Yes, everyone is brown,
so
and yet, I was the darkest.
And it's like it's interesting because people don't think necessarily that this discrimination exists when everyone's like some kind of similar skin color. Like, oh, in the UK it exists because like it's mostly white people. So like I was at my like youngest school, little school, until I was 13, was I think one of the very few brown people at the school.
Right.
And I experienced it a few times and I can remember, but it wasn't too much. But I was very apparent that I was one of the very few people of color in the school. So that's like, oh, you expect that because it's people of like different, like literally different skin colors, but you're all a variety of the same skin color and you're gonna bully someone and discriminate against them, when if you went in the sun, you could probably end up being that same color anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean?
Yeah. And I just want to caveat and say it wasn't like they were chasing me and yelling names. It wasn't like that. It was more like whispered, like the boys being rude, that kind of thing.
That's worse though, isn't it? I feel like if you're gonna come for me, come for me. Don't just like, you know.
Yeah.
Do you think if you went back now, say you were like little you went back now and you were at school, do you think that would be different because of times changing, or do you think it'd still be like that?
So I thought times had changed until this pitch came my way, and I was like, this young girl is going through the same thing that I went like a decade ago. Not a decade, 2 decades ago. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, like damn, this is still happening.
Yeah.
And to segue slightly back to animation, I'm so interested in like what is the process behind like actually making an animation film? Because I'm like mind blown by it. I'm like, how the hell are you doing this?
Right. Yeah. So you begin with either a character or an idea or like a line that has inspired you, and then you brainstorm, and then you develop the characters, you develop the story, you write it, you go through many iterations of it, and then you make this thing called a storyboard, which is like a blueprint of where the characters will be, what they'll be saying, and then you take that storyboard and you put it in video form, and you add sound and you edit it basically, and that's called an animatic. And then once you have the animatic, it's like, oh, that's kind of essentially what the film is going to be. Now you just have to go and make it. And so you shoot the animation, whether it's like 2D or stop motion or 3D or whatever have you. And then you put that into the edit. And then you have like final sound, final composer work on it. And that's it. Voila, you're done.
Voila.
Yeah.
You make it sound so simple. I would literally just be sitting there like drawing like stick men, like can't even. Do you think you have to be good at art then to do animation?
I think you definitely need to have an inclination towards the arts. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to be perfect. I don't think you need to be perfect. Like, I think everyone has their own skill and talent that they can bring to the table. Yeah.
But you have to have like something. You can't be getting a D like me. Do you know what I mean? Like my flying chair trying to be like Salvador Dali or something.
I'd love to see this. Now you've hyped it up a lot.
Maybe I'll remake it and send you a picture.
Yes,
you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've got to touch on Forbes 30 under 30. Tell me how that came about. And for those people listening / watching that don't know what that is, what is that?
So Forbes is an American business company that has been around since like 1917 or something. And
that long?
Yeah.
Shoot. I thought you were going to say the 1970s.
They're old. But they're basically they started, I think in 2010 or 2011, they started making this 30 under 30 list, which is to highlight 30 people in 20 different industries every year on, innovative things that they've done or creative things that they brought to the table of that industry. And there are a lot of like really cool, like I think Taylor Swift got on it in 2011 when it first came out, and then a lot of people over the years have gotten on it. And I think it's just recognizing people who are going to make an impact in the future, like the next generation of up and comers. And I got on it last year, and this year I'm a judge.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how fun.
I know. It's crazy. I'm like, wow. Really? When they reached out to me, I was like, thank you. And the list is coming out tomorrow on April 9th.
So how was like judging everything? Like, what was it like?
Oh, it was wild. It was like, I don't know. I was just like overwhelmed with like all these amazing people that I felt like all of them deserved to be on the list. But it was just like whittling it down. So I'm one of 4 judges. And
that's not that many.
No, it isn't. Yeah. And we basically vote on people in our aggregate vote.
Sure. And then the people who get the most votes, bang, they get Forbes 30 under 30. That is amazing. Was there quite a lot of like was people generally agreeing with each other, or was there? I want to know if there's any tea.
Ooh, I don't know if I'm allowed to reveal it.
Never mind. I'm not trying to drop you in it. As soon as I said that, I was like, she's probably not going to be able to say anything. But that's an amazing achievement.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It really is.
Thank you.
So we've kind of touched on, like, you've given generally a lot of advice without even realizing it to young filmmakers, female filmmakers, South Asian female filmmakers. But if you could give, let's say, like 3 pieces of advice to a young filmmaker, what would you say?
Don't take no for an answer. Take the criticism that you feel resonates with you. I think you should be open to criticism, and I think your work will be better for it. So yes to criticism, but only the criticism that serves you and your story. And then I think number 3 would be to always, no matter how many rejections that you get, like, keep going.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. Like that's excellent advice, and I think that has been so proved by you and your resilience and consistency and being like, this is what I want to do and I'm gonna do it and I don't care. And the fact that you also, the great thing about creativity and art is that you can make stuff yourself and put it out there.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
You don't have to like rely on someone else to do it. Maybe you do need people to give you certain opportunities to help you along the way and like help you grow, but you can make things yourself.
Yeah. And I think the, what is it called? Like, there used to be a barrier to these industries in the past, but now with like TikTok and with Instagram, I think more and more people, it's just more accessible for us to blow up. Even musicians, like people are blowing up on TikTok and like Lil Nas X. I think during the pandemic, he just made like a little song with he didn't even, I don't think he even produced it. I think he just he put his vocals on it. Went viral.
Bang.
Yeah, bang. Look at him now. Yeah.
Okay, so final bit of the podcast. We're gonna mix it up a little bit, have a little bit of fun. But I've got 2 questions for you that I ask every guest. So it doesn't matter if you don't ever want to have kids, doesn't matter how you feel about it, but say you were to have kids, what is something from your culture / heritage that you would pass down to them?
I think I would teach them Malayalam, which is my mother tongue.
Lovely.
Yeah. And my parents taught me that despite me growing up in Indonesia and Dubai, and I love being able to have conversations and understand Malayalam films.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think I would also, I grew up reading a lot of comic books that cover the Mahabharata or the Ramayana or the Vedas, which is scriptures, Hindu scriptures. So I think I would show them that, and because there's so many stories and we only hear Greek mythology, for example.
Yeah, and you're a storyteller at your core, so that would make sense that you'd share those stories with your children.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is a little bit of a weird one, but do you have a confession or a secret or something that people wouldn't expect about you because you're South Asian?
This is so hard.
I know it's a bit of a weird question. My friend Evie, shout out Evie, gave me the idea for it, and I was like, that's kind of fun, but it's kind of a bit I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. This is controversial, but I feel like Indian sweets, especially things like rasmalai, are too sweet.
Yeah, fair.
Too sweet.
Too sweet.
Too sweet.
Too sweet. Too sweet. Okay, and finally, we are hopefully going to get you in the kitchen making a wrap. Okay.
Amazing. Okay.
And in order to do that, if you're hungry and you want a tasty en route wrap, which can I tell you that they're amazing, you need to wrap for me. Just a little short wrap. And you may or may not have prepared something. You may or may not be able to read it off your phone.
Okay, let me pull it up.
So Neeraja's going to rap for us.
Oh my God.
Wait. And she was also at the start, she was like, can I use the backing track? And we banned her.
Yes.
She's banned from using the backing track.
Essentially, just to provide context, I used the backing track of Nicki Minaj's Monster verse, with the song that she did with Kanye. So give me a moment.
No probs. Pause for a second.
Okay. At Enron Peckham with Talina Naveed. Okay, one sec. Talina Naveed?
Yeah.
Okay.
We start again.
At Enroot Peckham with Talina Naveed. She's a bad gal with roots from South Asia. Yeah, I'm in the same, but cut from the same cloth. Now we're on our podcast, hashing it out first things first, I'll brainstorm away. Then I'ma start building that narrative, cause that's what a writer, director do. Storyteller from Kerala, you're a filmmaker, boo. Animation is my game, that's how I pay my due. And my Brown Daisy gang are my all-time crew. And I'm all up in here from the underground. Ain't messing around, we're on South Asian Underground.
Oh my God. That was absolutely brilliant. I love that you incorporated me, the podcast, our roots, everything. And you were like, oh, I'm sorry if I'm going to be bad at rapping. I'm actually going to say that could have been the best one I've heard so far.
No way.
No, I've actually not said that to anyone. You can ask Arnold over there. You know, I've not said that to anyone. It's true.
I feel like fucked up on your name. I think I did. I said Talina Navi.
My name is Talina Naveed.
Okay.
It's fine.
Should I do it again?
No.
Are you sure?
You smashed it.
Are you
100%.
sure? Okay.
Literally 100%. And
Okay.
you mentioned en route and everything.
Yes.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to be back in a second. Neeraja's going to go make us a rap. Should be interesting. And then we're going to finish it off. She's going to try it. And it's going to be great. See you in a sec.
Okay.
Okay, we're back. We are back indeed. And Neeraja has made a interesting rap. And she's going to try it. It actually looks delicious, but her actual rapping the rap is interesting. Okay, you're going to try it.
Yes. Oh, wait. Do I need to hold it and try it at the same time?
No, I can hold the mic for you. To Mike T.
It's really good.
It's really good. Are you impressed with your rapping, double rapping skills?
Thank you so much for having me on and for this rap.
You made it yourself. You know? You've been great. We've been
You
great.
provided the
rap
ingredients.
is great, and we're happy. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.